Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Harley Carnes podcast. Harley on the headlines. Want to thank you for joining in, helping me take a look at what's going on. You know, I like to call this a partnership, whether it is or not. I mean, I do the cast. You help others by telling them that it's here. I thank you because obviously that helps me. Liking, subscribing, and following all make a difference. California is a remarkable state. Forget about the politics and the taxes. You know, I lived there for about a year and I thought it was just amazing. It's a state with every sort of terrain and just about every climate. There is some of the hottest desert on earth, as well as some of the most beautiful forests and mountains, both green and brown. The beaches range from rocky, strewn with boulders next to cliff faces that rise up to US 1 highway, to Baywatch sandy mussels and bikinis. There are picturesque towns and major cities, unbelievable traffic jams, and lonely roads with nothing and nobody on them. You can prospect for gold in the desert, or you can ski on fresh snow in rugged mountains, snow that might move under your feet. A backcountry avalanche took 15 skiers with it in Nevada County in the north. Boreal Mountain Ski Resort and Tahoe Donner's Alder Creek Adventure Center rescue ski teams came to try to help. 6 of the 15 were rescued. 9 people are missing. Not good. The weather is extreme. It took several hours just to reach the survivors and bring them out. The avalanche started like building thunder on Castle Peak near Lake Tahoe, and it brought a storm of snow, freight training down the mountainside. Reaching those who were caught by the avalanche is very risky because there can be more avalanches. Sometimes people are buried in snow up there, and they can't be found until they reappear after the spring thaw. Have social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram and YouTube deliberately done harm to children and teenagers? Or has the harm that's been done been unintentional and unthinking? There is a trial now. A 20-year-old woman called KGM in the lawsuit, and her mother, Karen Glenn, claim those platforms damaged KGM's mental health as a child. It's just the first in a group of lawsuits brought by 1,600 parents, teenagers, and school districts, all making similar addiction claims. Damages range from depression, self-harm, like suicidal thoughts, eating disorders, violence, anxiety, body dysmorphia, bullying, and sextortion. The question for the jury ranges from deliberate harm to negligent harm to unintentional harm. That there has been harm is generally agreed and acknowledged by most of society. Mark Zuckerberg and Meta disagree, said so already in court. That attitude has made Zuck and company many billions of dollars and has cost young people and those who care about them dearly. The plaintiff's lawyers say there are internal documents that prove it was deliberate, a stated goal of creating apps that are psychologically difficult to put down, as well as components like autoplay, infinite scroll, push notifications, beauty filters, and, of course, likes. In short, machines designed deliberately to addict the brains of children. Now, I don't think they set out to hurt young people. I think they set out to create a social platform for communication and some lofty ideals and ideas. But I also think when clearly bad things started to happen, they considered it collateral to so-called progress and money. I think they warmed themselves beside a fire of their own making that they couldn't control. But it was warm and comfy, and they were good with it. Now, what's damning is time. They've known about this for a very long time, and for whatever reason or reasons, have not set out to solve it. That attitude will cost Meta and company a lot of money it can easily afford. This story comes from the How Dumb Can You Be file. A teenager was spotted running toward the U.S. Capitol with a loaded shotgun in his hand. Carter Camacho drove all the way up from Smyrna, Georgia, was wearing tactical gear, and had some extra shells for the shotgun. Capitol Police surrounded him, told him to drop the gun. He did. Told him to lay himself down on the ground. He did. Now he's in jail. He's lucky he didn't point that shotgun at anybody. The woke crowd is costing states and municipalities more and more money, not just with attitudes that seek to erase those they don't like, but with protests in the streets, sometimes violent, for the same reason and other reasons. Now Colorado has lost one of the great AI and software analytics firms in the country. Palantir Technologies has moved its headquarters from Denver to Miami. Palantir does work for the federal government, law enforcement like DHS and ICE, and the military. The anti-ICE crowd started protesting because they're doing business with the government and damaging things at Palantir's headquarters. Well, Palantir decided enough of this. It moved to Florida, which is known as the Free State of Florida, and which Palantir says aligns with its own thoughts of America, patriotism, constitutional and individual freedom. Palantir has also declared itself completely anti-woke. Even better, Florida has no state income tax. Ka-ching. Heck, Mark Zuckerberg moved his headquarters out of high-tax California to Florida. And he's a woke kind of guy, or has been. Maybe he's learning and maturing. Guess we'll see. This is pretty big. Roundup, the weed killer, causes cancer, specifically non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Now, most folks knew or at least believed that to be true. Bayer, the company that makes aspirin and Roundup, among other things, always argued that it was not true. Now Bayer, which is a German company, has settled a class action lawsuit for $7.25 billion. It'll set up a fund for damages now and into the future. Iran is claiming its diplomatic talks with the U.S. have resulted in a new nuclear understanding, agreement on general guiding principles, which makes it sound pretty solid, right? Steve Witkoff for the U.S. says, yeah, there's some progress. The best advice with Iran is the old advice. Don't hold your breath. When Iran says it's going to take a lot more negotiation to make an actual deal, it's describing time. Time, that most precious commodity, because it gives them opportunity to try to rebuild their nuclear weapons program in secret. They want nuclear weapons in the worst way. They've said it so clearly, so loudly, so many times that their intention one day is to have a nuke so they can blow Israel off the map. Offering to trust Iran is like slipping between the sheets of a bed where you know a cobra sleeps. Now, President Trump says he thinks Tehran is willing to make a deal to guarantee no nuclear weapons because of his very successful attack on their facilities, and he thinks they don't want a repeat of that. Sure hope he's right. One of the best scenes in the Winter Olympics came during qualifying for the women's cross-country ski team sprints. There's a dog, a Czech wolfhound, like a shepherd, named Nazgul, who lives with the Croatian skiers. He saw them leaving their compound for the race, and he decided he didn't want to be left behind. He missed them. So he escaped his pen, and as the skiers shushed cross-country, he ran along too and crossed the finish line right there on camera with them. The NBC sports announcer declared that was the biggest cheer of the day from the crowd of spectators. No big surprise there, right? Had to be really big. Anyway, thanks for joining in for today's Harley on the Headlines. Appreciate you being there. It meant I didn't have to do it all by my lonesome self. Thanks for helping to spread the good word that we are doing this together. I hope you'll like, follow, subscribe, urge others to do the same. Hey, let's make a habit of it. I'm Harley Carnes. We'll talk again soon. And in the meantime, do me and yourself a favor, please. Be happy today. Make some really good choices. And fly safe. It is the only way to get there.